Hi, everyone. In this season of AI Ignition, you will hear new voices and insights from my Deloitte colleagues. Now I will turn it over to our guest host today. Enjoy the show.
Thanks, Bina. And hi, my name is Björn Bringmann. I'm the Managing Director of the Deloitte AI Institute Germany, guest hosting AI Ignition. Today on AI Ignition, we're joined by Dr. Kristian Kersting. Kristian is a full professor at the Computer Science Department of the Technical University Darmstadt in Germany. His main research interests are statistical relational artificial intelligence, as well as deep probabilistic programming and learning. In addition, Kristian is the head of the Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Lab, a member of the Center for Cognitive Science, a faculty of the LS Unit Darmstadt, and the founding co-director of the Hasion AI Center for Artificial Intelligence, Hasion AI. Beyond this work, Kristian has published over 180 peer-reviewed technical papers and authored and edited multiple books on AI and machine learning. Welcome, Kristian.
Thanks for having me.
Kristian, today you're a thought leader in AI and machine learning pretty much across Germany, and I would claim beyond. And I do know you for quite a while, but I in fact never asked what was the catalyst that drove you towards that career? How did it start?
There was one moment where I really felt very attached to computer science, and it is, my mom was not happy with me. My room was very crowded again. And so she told me, please clean finally. And I was wondering, why do I have to do it? Why can't there be a machine? And so I was wondering whether AI could be the answer to give some form of order to chaos. And I think that is a question I still have. I don't know whether I can give you an answer, but that was one part there. So how can we automate cleaning? What is intelligence? But to be honest, I never expected to become professor. And maybe at some point I had no other chance anymore because I felt like maybe I'm not good enough for real business. Who knows? But that was one of the reasons.
Wow. Okay. Unexpected story for sure. And the usual professor is known to have quite a grip on chaos, right? So that probably fits. So nowadays, I checked, as you know, your wiki page yesterday, but also on your team is working on pretty much making computers learn like humans do, right? At least that's what I understood. So making them learn as rapidly as we do, and on the other hand, as flexible.
Yes,
I remember you've done some things in the past, but how did you get to that one?
Well, the flexibility, I think that's what we are currently all experience, right? I mean, all these large language models, transformer-based approaches, but also diffusion models are so impressive in the flexibility they can be used, and they also show. I don't think we are already at the stage where they are as efficient as humans. So now, why do I care about that? Well, AI has a twin discipline, and it's cognitive science. So cognitive science is essentially asking, can we find algorithms that explain human behavior, smart behavior, intelligent behavior? And so we can learn as AI, we can learn a lot from humans and how humans are doing it. We may not have to always follow the human way, right? I mean, smart behavior can be completely different. And if you think about it, that's also what you want, because if you think of self-driving cars, if you just do it the human way, then we have as much congestions as before. So it's not about being superhuman. It's about just solving issues we have in a better way. Think of many things in climate change. How can we do that without having the human bias maybe in there? Can we get supported at least? Can we have a system that can be an expert in many domains and help us solving our problems? Maybe we can ask this system. So this is where the human dimension in the sense of cognitive science is getting in there. And maybe we need heuristics, which are maybe not actually heuristics, to deal with the complexity of the real world, even within machines. To make it more concrete, if you think about how much a single query to a large language model currently costs, it's 10 times more energy costly than just doing a web search. If I ask you, I think maybe you start sweat, but you're still much more energy efficient than any of these systems. And also, you don't need millions of examples to understand what is a cat and what is a dog. So there seems to be still something doable here to make our machines more efficient. So this is the driving force. And we go step by step there, right? How to get reasoning and learning together. Or think of playing Atari games. We are so good in AI using deep learning to play Atari. But then they're all pixel-based. And if you think of Breakout, it's the system where, you know, you have this little pedal and then the little ball, and you have to kill little bricks in the upper part. If you then move the pedal a bit up, most of these deep learning systems break because they never experienced that situation, because they learned that the pedal is somewhere else. So how can we make it more object-centric? And for us, it's so natural. If we talk to each other, we are using the notion of objects and even relations. So how can we get that together with deep learning, together with pixel-based? How can we make these systems more robust? This is what we mean by make it more, learn more rapidly as humans, and also more flexible. And finally, the big questions we are currently touching is, can these systems understand our social norms so that they are not confused by our behavior? I think this is pretty cool. And also because we learn a lot about our own behavior. So social norms is something we are looking at.
Wow, that was a lot and quite some things to unpack. I took some notes so I don't forget anything. But if I understood correctly, you would see AI, I'll just call them tools for now, as complementary, right? I mean, you said they don't need to do the same as we do. So there's this question, this other question in there, obviously, on the current progress and big discussions, if they outperform humans or not. Do you have maybe a short statement on that?
Yeah, to make it very short, yesterday was the first birthday of ChatGPT, right? It's 1 year old. And still it can't, is that the correct English, the right English? It can't blow off the candle on the birthday cake, right? It can't simply turn it off. There's no way, because it can't directly interact on its own with the physical world. So there seems to be still a lot missing on AGI, but it's impressive what these systems are capable of doing and how they can help us solving our issues, but we still solve in the end the issues. And this is mind-blowing. I mean, I expect that there's no language barrier soon anymore. I expect that we can get access to all the different scientific disciplines in an interactive way, but still we have also to learn a lot ourselves about the other disciplines. So it's amazing. But yeah, it can't deal with a birthday cake. It can't bake a pizza. There are many things these systems can't do currently. So still a lot to be done.
Any thoughts on the generative AI, craze, so to speak? Like any recommendations maybe? What, how to, like, from your point of view, like what's the hard part, so to speak, in the hype? Like what's the stuff that's just fluff at the moment, but where...
So first of all, I think generative AI is mind-blowing, and it's really, I never expected that we will make a jump in capabilities and performance. And this is why I guess some people talk about AGI, because it's so rapid, and maybe there is just a little bit other step and then we have AGI. I don't think we have AGI soon, but this still means we can have many quantum leaps and enjoy the progress there. So I think we should embrace it, but we should embrace, as always, with a bit of consciousness or with a bit of soul, in a sense, in there, right? So we have to be a bit careful. So, for example, what we are working on is, it's amazing what type of images you can generate by now. And next to social implications, you know, are there still maybe designers needed? Which I think, yes, they are. But still, every one of us becomes a bit more of a designer, which is amazing. We empower people, or AI can help to empower people. But we have to be careful, because you may also generate a lot of crap, to be honest, right? So you may deliver a tool into the rooms, into the homes, to generate harmful content. And you don't want that. And we want to have systems that then tell the user, no, I will not produce it because of, and gives a justification why not to use. And I think that is also important for all the issues maybe related to misinformation in the upcoming elections worldwide. I think next year we will have something like 2 billion people on elections worldwide. And so we have to make sure in the long run that these elections are not heavily influenced by generative AI. So that was for the image part. For the text part, similar stuff, right? We have a system published at Nature Machine Intelligence that tries to reduce the crap that is produced, but there's still to be done a lot. So we were just showing it's possible. We believe it's possible, but still a lot to be done. Also in terms of providing justification, links, combining it with reasoning. So going a bit into Kant, you want to have a system that may abstain and say, no, I don't want to do that, but not on an emotional level, right? Provide a justification. And what we call in Germany Vernunft, right? This is, you want to have reasonable AI. That's what we are working on. So it's amazing what you can do. Now, in terms of business, I think people have to be a bit careful. That's why I was talking about AGI. I think they should not put AI systems on the same level as humans already. This will take ages still to come. So if you don't do that, that would be a good step, because then you can enjoy what we can do already.
So you're saying use them for what they are, not for what you want them to be, right?
Yes. I think that's really, we should not fall short on, oh yeah, AI equals humans. That's it's the wrong picture.
Yeah. And it supports, so to speak, the idea of having some complementary system, right? Rather than rebuilding a human, but just with other means.
Yeah, exactly. There's the slogan from AI to IA. So from artificial intelligence to empowering, to intelligence amplification. And I think that is what we should think about, how to get, if we want the robot out of our daily business, how can we get that onto a robot so that we can spend our time, if you're a medical doctor, for example, really with a patient, or with doing even more research and less on filling out forms. Or if you think about text forms, why do we have to fill them? I think they can be done automatically with some information that we want to keep private. Or if you think of many of the admin stuff, at least at the university, at a German university, you're spending a lot of time on administration. And I think this is where the systems can be very useful to pre-fill. And in the end, I'm still in charge to say, yes, that's the right form and it's correctly filled. But that would be nice. Next steps. And that's not, you may say it's superhuman, right? Because if you can fill these forms, I think you're a superhuman. But it's not this superhuman where people feel like we want to find the next level. I'm just impressed already by this help a standard AI system can do.
Is there anything where you would say we should prepare to? Also, like, it's actually two questions in one here. One, a little bit of an outlook, but maybe let's pause it for a moment. And the other one, regulations and from our government, like everybody is called up on the radar at the moment, so to speak, right? Is there anything you would say we should prepare for, business should prepare for, to take this into account?
I think regulation will come, and it's very natural. I don't understand why we should be scared by regulation per se. That's what we're used to in medicine, in the medical domain, in physics, in so many domains. We are used to regulation, and that's fine. And so instead of just talking about regulation, I think we should also talk about how to set up the production line, right? And I think we need open models, and then from there we develop in particular closed models that can then be used by companies. I think that's more important, but regulation per se, I think it's very natural. I don't know whether I would regulate the base models, foundation models. I don't know. I'm happy already that we have the application-oriented one. More important is that we need open models. It's not only me as a more technical person who should give an answer. It's a legal question, it's a philosophical question, many, many different voices in there. For me, I should rather think we should go ahead, and I feel like we compare again with humans at many levels here already. We should just make sure that it's testable to some extent, that we have it open, that we can ask the model things, even if we are not the company. That is more important for me than saying it has to be fully regulated and all the models have to be completely open. Because, you know, I look at my lamp here on the desk. I don't know whether I fully understand how it works, but I'm using it. I'm trusting it, right? So it's much more about trust than being completely transparent and we have all details. That doesn't help me.
Yeah, makes sense. I also don't really understand all the details of my car, but I trust it pretty much. And I do have a rough understanding, right? You're also serving as co-director of Hasion AI, right? And I was just wondering if many of the reasons you just listed are part of the reasons why I think you even co-founded it, right? Or at least why you're part of Hasion AI.
Yeah.
Is it related to what you just said? Like, you know, making it more public and not necessarily control, but probably also educate people? I don't know.
Yeah, so I strongly believe that AI needs an ecosystem. An ecosystem needs also different voices. And then we proposed to go for a larger AI center, and luckily we got money for that. But I have to say it's also pretty tough because there are 13 different universities involved. It feels a bit like only Ursula von der Leyen currently has a more horrible job in terms of, you know, keeping different opinions together and negotiating them and coordinating them. But I think it's useful. It's really, it's a good effort that you spend there. It's something good that is getting out of it because you get more, a bit more robust, you're getting more responsible in a sense, and you understand that there are different opinions and you're not just going with your own opinion. So that was one part. But then AI per se needs an ecosystem also in terms of you need academia, but you also want to monetize. So you may need entrepreneurship. So we also have entrepreneurship involved. But then all that doesn't help you if you don't have the infrastructure to compute something. So we are also happy that this year we got 42, which is probably the largest academic AI supercomputer, at least in Germany. I'm not sure about, maybe France has more. I don't know. That's a different question, but it's really just for AI. So we are very happy there. We have also produced already a German language model using that. There are some other great news coming. I'm just happy to get different opinions involved, because that makes you more robust and much stronger. And many questions in AI need an ecosystem. The questions are so big that you cannot say it's a single professorship or a single company if the company itself is not very big. So that doesn't work. So we need all these different teams that help each other, that come together for a particular problem, and then maybe form another team for another problem. That's what we are working on. Infrastructure was a big step. I'm so happy about that. Was really very useful.
Is there anything from your interactions with different companies and so on that you've learned where you would say they're the opportunities? So that's a good approach on how to start. I know not all, but many companies are still kind of starting, right? They may already do quite a lot of stuff, but few have really figured it out. So anything from what you've seen on how to get started, what to avoid, and maybe also why to get started.
Yeah. So I think the easiest thing I can say, and it's maybe not that easy, you need a slightly different culture. And let me explain it. Maybe the best way is to tell you a story, how not to do it. And it's a real story. So we were at a larger meeting with many, even really big companies. I will not say any name. And one of the, I don't know, what is CEO or CTO, I don't know. But anyhow, he was saying, okay, problem, data, algorithm. You tell me for which problem, which data, which algorithm. And then all the AI people in the room were a bit like, no, almost starting to laugh, and then saying, no, sorry, this is why you have to go to university to some extent, or at least to spend some time in studying AI, because we can't map every problem to a particular type of data and a definite algorithm to use. You can actually prove that there's no single best algorithm, and you need to develop a smell, in a sense, an understanding for what are maybe good candidates. And then he said, oh, okay, I understand. So let me repeat. problem, data, algorithm, you tell me, blah, blah, blah. So I think this is what we have to avoid. We have to accept that computer science and AI is not just nerds. It's a science. That's why it's called computer science in English, right? And not just informatics. Well, sometimes you call it informatics. It's a science. It's something equivalent to mathematics, to medicine, to physics. So please just treat it as a cool science. Next step is change culture. Don't ask, how can I solve my issue in the traditional way using AI? Just ask, here's an issue. How would you solve it? Because then you get the freedom to break out of your processes and maybe come up with a new process, which is AI driven. So just go out, give it a try, but don't expect within 2 weeks now everything is different. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes money, but that's fine.
Very, very cool. Super, super helpful. Obviously, a bit of an outlook. What would be your midterm, long-term, you pick your distance, predictions for AI and machine learning?
We will have super useful, powerful AI systems that are really changing the world. There will be no language barrier within the next, I think even maybe 3 or 5 years, maybe more like 3 years. I don't think, I think really like an enterprise, the movie and series, I think you will have this translator automatically and you can go anywhere, almost anywhere on earth. We have to make sure to not forget many of the languages, right? I mean, it's not just English and it's not just German and it's not like French and Spanish. There are many, and Mandarin. There are many other languages we want to cover, but I think there will be no language barrier for any major language soonish, which will be amazing. I think another stuff that will happen, we will have systems that fill out forms for you. Really, I really believe admin will be much easier for many, many, many people. And that also includes, and that's maybe very interesting for Deloitte, you will have systems that help you to come up with much better presentations. Maybe they come up even with a presentation, and you see already the first tools doing that. Mm-hmm. And this will all happen very soon. 10 to 20 years, I think we will see improvements, maybe a bit more like 10, a lot improvements in robotics, but it's not like as easy. I think it will be much harder for that. We will see systems that can do reasoning, but really with guarantees and learning at the same time. And the interaction will just be via voice. But they will also understand our mimic. They will also understand our reactions. And so this is still a bit work. What will not work within the next 10 years, I think, is a machine that can tell well jokes and understands jokes. So the understanding jokes is more important, right? So imagine that we all go to the Mars, which I don't believe we should maybe do. I hope there will be other planets because it's pretty hot on the Mars. So I think it will be boring. But anyhow, if you have to travel there, a system that is monitoring the crew should also understand, how is the atmosphere? Do people like each other? What's going on there, right? And that means you have to be, there has to be empathy. There have to be understanding of emotions. And that's pretty tough because do we want machines to understand it, to maybe even trick us there? I don't know. So, but that's very hard.
Mm-hmm. And actually, what you just mentioned at the end kind of nicely closes to where you were at the beginning, right? You said you're working quite strong or quite intensely on having machines or enable machines to understand social norms.
Yeah.
And it sounded like,
but also being aware that is super tough, right? It's not, I don't want to say it's easy or solvable to some extent soonish. We just try our best, and interdisciplinary research is required there.
But how, for our listeners here, how could they get connected with you? Where to find your interesting
different ways. So they can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter. They can also send an email to my secretary or to at Hasion AI. We have something like info@hasion.ai. I guess they can send emails there. They can also maybe ask you, and for very prominent people, I'm happy if you even forward the handy number, smartphone number. There are different ways, but that's the easiest way. Just drop an email. If you're close to Darmstadt, drop by. Super happy to talk to people. Or Björn, we try to organize a symposium together or something like that, right? I mean, there's maybe also something to be done there.
Yeah, if somebody's interested, reach out and then we'll see how to set this up. Very cool. Kristian, thanks again for being with us on the show today. And thanks to our audience for tuning into AI Ignition. Be sure to stay connected with the Deloitte AI Institute for more AI research and insights.